For coming, Tyler. First off,
Absolutely.
welcome. And my name's Brian Cheeseman. I'm Washington Bernie Kratz outreach director. And it says in your platform that you're having to do with something in the article, the first, and LaVergne versus, I'm not sure who it's versus, but that whole court case in the federal courts. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. LaVergne versus House of Representatives is, Eugene LaVergne he wrote the book on this subject literally and is suing the House of Representatives for representation. Again, this is a very long story, but in this world, it has to be put very shortly. So the short version is that when the Constitution was written, there was a huge debate over representation. We had just fought a war over representation. And the people wanted it done right, and it took some time to do that. And so they all got together, figured out what they really wanted to do. There were some mistakes made. If you can imagine the horsemen ride out from Philly or wherever they were meeting at New York actually, and go to all the states to get this document promulgated, ratified is another way of saying that. And that did happen. But in the meantime, the White House gets burned down when the British come back. So long story short, it never actualized. The agreement about how the government would remain a people's democracy was never put into actuation. And so since 1911, we've had a House of Representatives, which is the people's representation in the government, capped at 435 people. Basically, those 435 people have the entire voice of the people in our entire government. We have no other voice. Our president doesn't speak for us, nor does the judicial branch. These people, that's not their job. The House is the balance for the government and the thing that keeps it in balance. Why do you think we have a president that doesn't give a shit about anything? It's because he's not afraid. The checks and balances system that our government is built on puts the House in a position to check the president. The second paragraph of the Constitution reads, "For the House shall have sole power of impeachment." And without that checking him, he's just this rampant monkey fool that can do whatever he wants, and it's crazy. So y'all should get me elected so that I can impeach him, and among other things. But really, I
So
just
what is our representation at right now, though?
well, you mean numbers wise? It's like
No,
Washington State. I think in my district, it's that one guy, Derek Kilmer, represents about 450,000 people. Likewise, in both CD2 and CD6, I think everywhere in the state of Washington, it's about 400,000 people represented by one single human who basically.
wow, that's amazing. So what, to be reasonable, right? What should it be at?
Well, I mean, the Constitution was ratified to say that it should be one for every 50,000 people. And that's what the lawsuit literally says. The strict letter of the law is something like, for the first 20,000, you get one rep. For the second 30,000, you get two reps. Everybody gets at least one, and beyond 50, you get one for every 50,000 people. So that, it would literally
So
more
we would
than
actually change over to a representative government in that aspect, a
correct.
little bit more so, right?
Uh, yeah, I mean, more is a little bit of an understatement. We don't have a representative democracy. We have, as they feared, an oligarchy. You call it an oligarchy, you call it an aristocracy, whatever you want to call it, but it's not a representative democracy currently, and we do have the power to change it, and that's why I'm running for House.
Awesome. Thank you.
So
Thank you.
it's currently at one for every 400,000, and if we had one for every 50,000, that would be 8 per existing congressional district. 8 representatives instead of 1.
Effectively, that's an accurate statement. Yeah. So and then if you can imagine what that would do if we got all these people elected, we would suddenly have a supermajority in the House of Representatives, and the people would suddenly have a voice in the government. We could literally outvote the neoliberals and the Republicans just by getting me and Tambourine and Dorothy and Sarah and all the people who have shown up as leaders within our community would suddenly have a shot, and we would have the ability to do the things that we want to do. We would pass legislation that all the people agree on. Single payer would be a done deal after that went through.
Wouldn't it make it a lot harder for gerrymandering and the corruption that we have in the system right now? Wouldn't it be harder for them to control that kind of stuff?
That's the whole point. The reason why our forefathers put this in the Constitution was because they're like, hey, look, if a couple hundred people are in control of all this stuff, they're going to get bought. That's the way it works. We've seen it before. We're going to see it again. And the only thing that can check that is the power of the people and the breadth of diversity. The only thing that can check greed is this concept of democracy, so that you use the people as a way to distill the right course of action. And without it, you're toast. You're going down the wrong path. And here we are, right where they thought we'd be, because, I mean, I don't want to go too far off into the weeds on this one, but you get my point.
Yeah.
I
think we do. Thank you very much.
So that was one major platform that you're running on.